All right, live. I don't have a title for this because I don't even really know. Like, I know what I wanted to talk about, I know what I wanted to say, but it feels like so many different topics. Um, Firstly, hey Margarita, firstly, if you're on, tell me if you can hear me because hey Cal, I've got new headphones on, so just let me know if you can hear me. I'm using my headphones to hopefully dampen out the noise in my house. And I think what I want to talk about tonight is um, victimhood, as I'm always a recovering victimholic. I feel like parenting is in there somewhere. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Hi, can you hear me? Because I've got these headphones on. Okay, cool. Parenting, I feel like parenting is in there somewhere because of what I witnessed this evening, and power. So how's that victimhood, parenting, and power? So this kind of all started this evening. I asked one of my sons to bring me shoes. My shoes had broken, and I was going to this gathering this evening. And while I was changing my shoes by the train station, I saw this mother yelling at her son. And her son had to have been about 6'1", and he looked to be about a teenager, and she's a little shorter than him, and she's in his face, and she's yelling at him, and she's saying something to him. She said, I don't remember now, but something about her. She's like, I asked you to shut your fucking mouth, and my heart torn. My son's looking at me like wide-eyed, like they do. They look at me like, why do these mothers talk to their kids that way? Because it's usually mothers they hear, right? And it broke my heart to hear this woman yelling at her son like that. And I thought to myself, so this boy is going to get older, and when other women see him, they're going to talk about him if he's henpecked, right? They're going to talk about him if his wife is running all over him, or they're going to talk about him if he's got anger issues and he's taking them out on the woman that he's with. And here I am witnessing how and why that can happen. And at first I went on this rant on my Instagram stories. I was pissed. It's like, how we got to do better as moms. We can't use this single motherhood as an excuse, to treat our sons like shit, and, treat our kids like crap, and so forth and so on. And I was pissed. And then I deleted them all. Because I realized and I remembered that we are all doing the best we can in the moment. Now, there's this part of me that's like, are we really though? Like, was she really doing the best she could in that moment? Am I talking about you? You know what? And then we'll have to talk, Cal. Because here's the thing. I don't know this woman's story. I don't know what she grew up with. I don't know if she thinks that this is just the norm. I've come to realize there are people who think certain things are just the norm. They've not been exposed to anything else. They don't think it's anything else. And it's really hard for me sometimes, but to them it's just the norm. And so to this woman, to embarrass her son in the middle of Harlem on a street corner, when she went to move toward his face, and I could see him now, his back is to me, so I can see her yelling at him, and his back is to me, and I see her hands moving, and I see him flinching from the back, and I'm thinking, this young man, this teenage boy is flinching at his mom. He's been afraid of her for years. And he doesn't even realize his power and his own strength, right? It's like the elephant that's been tied to the pike, but when it gets older, it doesn't realize that it can, just drag the pike out and free itself. And this young man is just cowering in the face of his mother, and I'm thinking, how embarrassing is this for him? How many times has he gone through this? And his younger brother's there watching. I'm assuming it's his younger brother that was there with him. That's watching this play out. And although I'm pissed, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have to make the assumption that this woman just really believes that this is the best way that there is to raise a child. She really believes in her heart of hearts that this is the best way that she can possibly interact with her son. Either that or she's mentally ill. Right? And so I deleted the Facebook rant. And as I was thinking about her, and I thought about the young man, and I thought about my marriage, and I thought about my ex-husband, and I thought about his mother, and I thought about how he was in our marriage, and I had the opportunity to see how his mother was, and to see how she treated him and how she interacted with him. And over the course of the marriage, it dawned on me, oh, this is why. Now, we're divorced because neither one of us had the tools, to be perfectly honest with you. Neither one of us had the tools to deal with the anger that ensued, his anger and frustration, and my need to be the victim and to blame. So that's kind of part one of the victim part that I was thinking about. And then I just got off this really awesome call. I'm in a room with the Progressive Love Academy, and just got off a really great call about the secret women's room that we have, and listening. And one of the tenets is that there are no victims and no villains. And so that means no matter what we go through, there are no victims and there are no villains. And it had me think back to when my father had me reading As a Woman Thinketh, which was a play off of As a Man Thinketh. My father's very big on the fact that we create our lives. And he taught me that from a young age, is that I create my, wasn't it? As that, I learned so much in that call, just expanded me. My father's very big on teaching us from young that we create our lives. That was always evident in our home. And so when I went through my marriage, it was difficult for me because I had two things going on. The first was this idea that I created this situation. Like, I kind of knew that I did, but I really didn't understand why I did that. Why did I put myself in this position? And then the other part of it was all of society, which was like the other, like I create my life was like 10%, right? And then 90% of society was, you're a victim. And you're a victim of domestic violence, and you're a victim of all the stuff going on, and there's just no way out of that for you, and it is all his fault. It is all his fault, and if he had been different, then it all would have been different. And I tried that code on for a while. I tried the victim code on for a while. I did the circuit. I did the domestic violence circuit. I tried to fit into that mold, but it never felt right for me. Now, this is not going to be about domestic violence, and I'm not here to convince anyone else that they are not a victim of whatever it is that they feel they are a victim of. It's difficult to get out of that mindset. I totally get it. I'm here to tell you me, okay? And if it resonates with you, then cool. Hey, Alice. Hey, Hasina's on. So I went through this anger thing with my ex-husband, and I assumed I was a victim of the situation, when in reality I was not. And one of the things that dawned on me during the call, and I'll tie this back into the mother momentarily, one of the things that dawned on me during the call this evening is that when I was looking for, I did a love spell. It's the first and only love spell I've ever done. So I did a love spell. I'm a little witchy, and my ex-husband was brought to me, and what I was looking for was someone who was going to be devoted to me. I wanted a man who was going to tell me how he felt and be emotional and open with his feelings, and I would kind of be the center of his universe. And that is what I wanted, but I wasn't really sure that I actually wanted to be married. And so there was this like confusion going on, like, bring a man to me who desires me and wants me, but I'm not sure that I actually kind of want to be with him. So I got a man who desired to be with me, but who also had his own insecurities mixed with my insecurities, which created this beautiful mosh pit of chaos and confusion. But I in part created that because I wasn't clear. I was kind of like, yeah, I think I want that. The universe is like, okay, so you want him to be really devoted to you, and you want to be the center of his universe? Are you sure about that? Okay, here it is. Here's a man who loves you. You got it. And so I've learned a couple of things from that. One, to be very clear on what I want. Two, to not do any fucking love spells. No love spells. So I created this situation. And thank God I did. Thank God I did. Thank whoever. I just say it because it's the normal thing to say. Because if not for that situation, I would not have learned how strong I am. I would not have found a voice. I would not be talking to you live right now. I would not have created the business that I've created, and I would not have helped the women that I've helped. I would not be able to help the men that I've helped. Because see, what I learned in my marriage, once I realized I was not a victim in it, what I learned from my marriage was more of how men think, how men are hurt, how men feel, how men can be damaged by their mothers, how men don't have the opportunity to express their emotions, how men hide, how men are afraid, how men feel inadequate sometimes and don't know how to tell their women. And so it comes out forcefully. Now, mind you, this is so I just got a Facebook message. Thank you. So mind you, this is not to say that if you're dealing with someone, a man or a woman, who's berating you or yelling at you, this is not the time for you to say, oh, okay, well, it's okay that they do that. I'll just take it. No, that's not what I'm saying. But once you begin to unravel how you got into that situation, why you got into that situation, what you're supposed to get out of that situation, that's beyond the relationship. Beyond the relationship. Because we think the relationship is all it. We think that's it. We forget that our journey, as someone said in the call, our journey is so much bigger than the relationship. So if you understand what it is that your soul is here to teach you, regardless of whatever your religious beliefs are, most of the religious beliefs believe that you have a soul and that your soul is here to learn something. Once you understand that your soul is here to learn something, then your relationship becomes a teaching, a classroom for you to learn about who you are, what you desire, and what you want. And once you understand that, how can you possibly be a victim in your classroom that you created for your own personal growth? And how can that person be the villain when they are simply the teacher to help you expand in who you are and what you're meant to do here while you're in this realm? And so I abandoned being a victim long time ago. So bringing this back to the mother that I saw, it's why I had to delete the stories, because my ego was pissed because I was hurt for that young man. My ego was bothered because I'm looking at my son looking at me, and I'm looking at this young man cower in front of the woman who's supposed to be loving him unconditionally, who is his first teacher for what it is to receive a woman's love. And I'm hurting for him. And because I'm in pain, my pain became anger. Because really, anger is a mask. It's a mask for fear. It's a mask for hurt. Anger itself is it's just the cover. So when you take the cover off of anger, what is it that's underneath that? And what's underneath it? Oh, thank you, Sina. Thank you, Terry. And so what's underneath the anger? What was underneath the anger for me was watching this boy cower in front of his mother in fear. And all I could think of was, he does not understand what it is to have a woman love him. Because mothers are the first teachers. We are. And so because I was hurt by that, I was angry. But I had to look at that mother. And then I had to think about moments in my own parenting when I lost my shit, right? Because although my children remember me as this really great mom who didn't really yell and didn't spank those are the memories that they have, because what they say is people don't remember what you did, they remember how you made them feel. So I did a really good job at making sure my children always felt loved by me. But I remember some instances in which, as a mother, I thought to myself later on, I cried out of guilt, like, damn it, how could I do that? Yes, they are the first teachers of love. Yes, anger is a coven. Right? There are times that I've done things with my kids that to this day, when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad they don't remember that. Because in that moment, the stress of being homeless, the stress of not having any money, the stress of my marriage, the stress of life got to me. And in that minute, I was not the pristine mom. And so I don't know what this mother's story was on the street. And I didn't know what to do, and perhaps what she needed was a hug. I mean, for sure her son did. But perhaps what she needed was a hug. Like instinct wanted me to go over there and say, how could you treat your son this way? But all I would be doing was giving it back to her. Maybe what she needed was for me to go over there and say, come. And it's New York, so you can't. I gotta preserve my own life. but maybe what she needed was for me to come over and hug her, and just say it's okay. And so I know you love your son, because you're giving him your time and your energy right now to correct something that you feel he did wrong. So I know you love your son. Maybe you don't know how to show it in the way he needs it. But I gotta know and believe that you love your son. But let me hug you and let you know that you are loved too. I'm gonna put this out there, and I think I'm still friends on Facebook with my old sister-in-law, but I don't think she follows me, so it's okay to say this. When we were staying with my mother-in-law for a while during one of the stints when we were homeless, I snuck and read this journal that my mother-in-law at the time had in the house. It wasn't really a journal. I guess she wrote her notes in there. And this woman, and I can have such compassion for her now. She had to have been in her 50s at this time. And this woman wrote in this book that she didn't feel like anyone loved her. And it was hard for me to have compassion with her at the time, because she was threatening me and such, and this is a really bad situation, but the fact of the matter is that in her 50s, my ex-husband's mother still did not believe that anyone loved her or cared about her. And so in essence, she reacted in anger to everyone, because her thing is, I'm gonna get you before you hurt me. Because that's what life had taught her. I'ma get you before you get me. And so in watching the journey of this mother in the street deal with her son, watching my own anger, being aware of my own pain, leading me back to my pain in the relationship that I was in, but also helping me to understand that even for that boy, he's not a victim. I'm not sure what his soul is here to learn or receive from this relationship that he has with his mother. He chose her for a reason, and I do believe that we choose our parents. I do. He chose her for a reason, and I don't know what that reason was. But because he chose her, because that soul chose her, he's not a victim. And because she chose to birth him, she's not a villain. And so the call tonight was a helpful reminder to me of that. And so if I can leave you all with anything, and it's so interesting that the call happened tonight when I'd had this experience as a reinforcer. If I can leave you all with anything, it's the same thing that my father taught me when I was younger. He would tell me that I was a soul that came here, and that I created this universe that I was in in order to learn and grow before moving on to the next plane of existence. And when I was done learning here, I would move on. I'm not done anytime soon. So if I leave you nothing else, it's with, we create the realities that we live in. It is not up to something woo-woo elsewhere. That is the spark that gives us, it's like, here's your textbooks. That's what that is. Here are your materials. Now you go for it. But we are creating this existence, and we are co-creating it together. Everything that you see in everyone else is what you see in you. Everything that you see in someone else exists in you. And so I love that mother that I saw today. I am her, and she is me. We've just had different upbringings. And so I've been fortunate to fall on a side where I didn't treat my children that way, and she was on. I can't even say I was fortunate. That, again, that's a value judgment, so I can't say that. But I love this woman that I saw on the street yelling at her son because she needs that love, and I love the boy because he needs it too, and I love my sons and my daughters. You are not a victim in your life. You're not a victim of circumstance or the receiver of pure luck. You are the creator of your life. The question to ask yourself is, what life are you creating? That's going to be the title of this live. Finally figured it out, because I was just like thoughts. All right. That's the title of the live. I'm done tonight. Thank you all for watching. Share it if you feel like other people could use some of the little bits of whatever wisdom you feel like you've gleaned from it this evening. And if you're a woman who is interested in orgasmic sovereignty, you still have time to jump on in. That's the 9 month. I totally forgot about this, but it's the 9 month container in which you're going to create your life for 9 months. For 9 months, you're creating your life. Why 9 months? Because it takes 9 months to birth a baby. It takes 9 months to create a new life. It's a coven full of women. What other number would fit? So we're going to spend 9 months together unearthing who you truly are, so that you can create the life that your soul was meant to live here, as opposed to the life that was given to you by the ego that has taken over, and that's sex, money, relationships, and everything else. If you're a man who is interested in diving deeper and revamping your connections with women, revamping your connections with yourself, and you're looking to learn more about it from the feminine, message me. Let's work together. I'm here for both of you. All right, that's it for this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.